Hello my friends, this is once again me, Vladimir Pinta, FAF091, SIPC Lab 3 screencast. Actually in this laboratory work we had to do a shared whiteboard. Using UDP broadcast, Tkinter lib and defining our own communication protocol. What is the advantage of UDP? Mainly, the biggest advantage of UDP is its speed. Of course, it's not very reliable, but also it is not connection oriented. It just sends messages in broadcast, not giving any idea will that message reach its destination or not. It's oriented only on source port, destination port number, and it has very simple structure. Basically, the data is what it should pipe in. So the objectives of the laboratory were to familiarize with the UDP, learn how to send and receive datagrams, and understand the basic difference between TCP and UDP, which is not connection oriented. It has a simple structure, it's very fast, and we shouldn't do any authentication or something. It's just sending the data and not giving any reliance. It's not reliable, but it's very fast. Okay, actually Tkinter lib was used to make the nice GUI looking application. Also it gives us a possibility to manipulate with mouse clicks when drawing lines and something like that. And defining our communication protocol. We should define a very simple protocol in order to give us all the functionalities and message transmission and receiving messages to make our whiteboard work, make the new users connect simpler, receiving their color automatically, and clearing the workspace of the whiteboard after voting, counting votes. So this is why we defined two commands. One was the poke command, which sent the poke message in order to establish who else is wired to the whiteboard. The hi message second command, which deals with the color assignation. The yes message, which started the voting and vote counting on the right click of the button. And color message, which sent the coordinate of XY drawn on our whiteboard. So now we should proceed to the actual source code. So we imported the Tkinter, we imported threads, and we imported sockets. First of all, we defined some X and Y's, the dimensions of our canvas, and the port of transmission, a list of colors, variables for votes, and empty list for user lists. First command is poke. This is the basic code from the Tkinter structure which we received. Actually, it is the XY event when we're drawing something XY. It is assigned to these global variables, and then we can manipulate it. The event on X and the event of Y. This is the function for voting, which I redefined. When the command yes is sent, the global number of the global variable votes is counting. It sends this command to a broadcast address through the defined port, and there is a listening socket which is listening for the answers. Then it receives actually the answer. If that answer has in its message command clean, it increases the number of votes. If not, and it tries to receive this message. If it doesn't receive it, it proceeds further and just draws the lines and anything we need. In the end, it shows the nation voted from votes in user lists. Actually, we count the mean, yes, of votes. If it's higher than, if the number of votes is higher than the average number of users in the list, it sends the command erase through the broadcast and the specified port and nulls the number of votes. Okay, now drawing a line. We draw it like dots, specifying when receiving a broadcast message, like sending the broadcast message with the chosen color index, which is string of I. We broadcast the message, the X coordinate, the Y coordinate, and the color with the color index from the list of colors, and sending this message, broadcast this message to the ports. Actually, the dot function, which draws a dot in our GUI, is predefined like an oval with the XY coordinates and how it's called, the width of 5 pixels among its radius, with a color index chosen and the outline also of the same color. We can change it, it's not very important. Okay, the worker function, actually where all the magic happens. Specifying the root, which is our GUI and our canvas, the main thread, thread, with the global n, we receive a message from the broadcast. In this message, we split this information we receive in a message and the address in order to know from which IP address we receive this message. And in case of we start a new instance of the application, we send the poke message, which tells to all other users that are connecting that I want to receive a color. And then I send all that users are checking all their lists and sending me a hi message. When I receive a hi message, I should choose a color. Checking a color. Going through the list of colors which aren't occupied, I can and the message I received, I should split it in XY coordinates, which is int of X, int of Y, then split the color out and assign the color to the user list appended. In this way, I will fill my user list with my user list with all existing users, and also print out all the information I receive from them, which is the X coordinate and the color with their index, and draw on my canvas, which is my canvas, all these dots, their dots. And I'll do it like always. Then the function on close is destroying the root and closing the thread. The thread, I used a simple library thread, not threading. It's not very hard to manipulate with, and it has only basic functions we need. Not sophisticated, using joins, verifying the active one, and so on. So this is the broadcast socket I defined. which I send the first command. The first command is actually poke when I start my application. After I send this poke, I'm waiting to receive some information, actually always receiving some information. In a while loop, all the time uh, when I send the first message, I'm trying to receive a color, getting a color. If I received a high message, I print out that the color, if the color is already occupied, I increase the iterator from int1 in order to go through all the list of users, and no, through all the list of colors. I iterated from first, second, third, and which a number of colors is occupied. I just pass through them and occupy the next after all the users, and send assign me this color. The color of my color is becoming my color, and printing out that my color is chosen from the list. Then in the main class, actually, we're defining the Tkinter root, configuring its dimension of the canvas, like make it sticky in order to have the possibility to resize it. Oh no, not to resize it. And we defined, actually, we bind the keys we are going to use to generate some events. The first click mouse button, when we press it and drag it, we are actually sending XY coordinates with our color. The third button, which is the right click, starts the voting process, and actually the motion of the first button adds a line. Each time we press it and start dragging, it draws our points. And of course, in order to have a possibility to start more instances on the same PC, or mainly being thread safe and thread giving multi-threading possibility, we define a new thread on the worker function on the main root thread, and on the window we want, actually the canvas. And on function close, we destroy all these windows. Actually, this is the code used only in Windows, because this message, event-driven messages, should differ in Unix based systems. So basically that's all I can say about my code, and I can show how it works. This is the basic code. Now we are starting a new instance of the application. There is no one in the network, so I broadcasted the poke message to all the people around, and I selected my color to be with 0 index, which is the first color, blue. And now I can draw something for you. So I'm starting to draw, generating messages and sending them into the broadcast. So we should start a new instance of the application. Here it shows that I received a high message, so it means that one color is already occupied, and when I iterated through the list of users occupied and the colors occupied, I assigned to this root canvas a new color, which is red, with the index 1, which actually is the second color. And I can draw something, sending messages in the broadcast, and show that these messages were successfully received by the first by the first one. Here it's the first one, first user, which checked his colors, and here he can draw, and these drawings will show up on the second whiteboard. So of course we can launch and the third instance. It's not a big trouble. We receive two hide messages, we iterate through and selected the third color possible, and of course, as you can see, all the messages are sent to the broadcast and the drawings are appearing in each instance of the program. Where's the second one? Here it is. We can draw it and it will show up in all three windows. So now we can start the voting process. We'll try actually. I heard that it has some troubles and I'm not the only one, but it should work. So we start the voting process with a timeout, and actually it reset it, yes, 2 times because I pressed the button 2 times. I should now draw something else. If I press once, the right click, it waits and resets. Why does it reset all? Okay, it should be a feature, not a bug.